Things are heating up in the real world, but it's the real heat here in the SPFL Transfer Recap Show. Welcome back to Fog Football. We've got a lot to talk about here. A lot of heat, a lot of action. So let's not waste any time with intros and introductions. How about we just, well, it's the same thing. Intros is just a shortened version of introductions. Well, let me tell you something, brother. Matt O'Reilly. It's a guy we thought would probably be speaking the last of when he left to go to Brighton last season. Some big moments for Brighton. I remember that goal against Man City. It was a very well. I'll tell you what, man. That's like when he announced himself onto the scene, pretty much because he was unlucky because he got injured straight away, obviously. But he's caught the eye. And Napoli have bid it 25.6 million. Now, obviously, this is a wee bit out of date, but the key thing here is Celtic's hopes of a major windfall from the prospective sale of former midfielder Matt O'Reilly to Napoli, because it's something to do with I think Celtic can only make a certain percentage if it's over 25 million, and obviously if Napoli bid, so I mean they bid 30 million euros, which is 25.6 million pounds. So say Celtic get 25% of anything over 25 million, they're not looking at an awful lot of money here. They're looking at about 180,000. I mean, 150. Jeez, oh. So 150,000, it's not ideal, but obviously Celtic. Well, I mean, it's far from ideal. Celtic probably expect O'Reilly to go for like 50 million, and then at which point you're looking at a hell of a lot more money at the end of the day, guys, because you'd be looking. Uh, you'd be looking at. Well, what the problem is though, with O'Reilly, how much for? But then I don't know percentage points. I mean, I'm just guessing 25%. Post 25 million or over. Reality is, if it's 25.6, I mean, nothing's been accepted for Brighton. I mean, can they make more than O'Reilly? Yeah, I think they can, because that's not much. I mean, how much did Celtic sell O'Reilly for? Somewhere in that ballpark, but Napoli already signed Kevin De Bruyne, already got Billy Gilmore, already got Scott McTominay. I seen this funny thing on Twitter. It's like, if you lay Antonio Conte down and cut him open, he just bleeds Barclays, which I thought was pretty funny. Anyway, we'll move on for Matt O'Reilly. Be a good move, I think, for him. I mean, I say it could be a good move. I'm not saying he doesn't need to leave Brighton because they still apparently view him as a key part of their plans. But obviously, with Serie A, the success rate in Serie A from players that have played in Scotland is phenomenal. It really, truly is. Sticking on the subject of Celtic, though, we'll get this one out the way quickly. Fulham striker Callum Osmond, 19, was spotted at the Celtic training ground on Thursday as he continues to be linked with a transfer to Scottish champions. That one just keeps getting dragged out. I'm not really too sure what's happening with that. Is it a nothing burger? No. I think the fact the guys at the training ground and bids have been talked and compensation fees have been discussed, etc. This one will probably happen, but it's not exactly the big shining light signing, is it? It's not the main event one that's going to be happening for Celtic. But speaking of main event, well, I don't know if I'd really call him main event, but Hibernian striker Dylan Vente has completed a medical ahead of a move to Dutch club Herenveen. Herenveen. And the 26-year-old will move for a fee up to 900,000. So 900,000. Looks like he'll be moving on from Hibs for. That's a lot of money for Hibs, especially for a guy it's never really worked out for him at Hibs, hasn't it? Not, man. He's done a lot of. He's had the odd loan move, but 900,000 for a guy that isn't really cutting the mustard. I mean, we'll look at his stats actually. Dylan Fente. I mean, I think he's all right, Dylan Fente, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's an absolute world beater now. What he did last season was actually pretty interesting because, of course, he was at PEC Swole. 30 matches, 13 goals in the Eredivisie. That's pretty good. Like seriously, like I mean, you cannot really fault that. But the problem is, he didn't do it for Hibs. He scored 5 goals. He scored 5 goals in 32 appearances for Hibs. Kind of just looks like a guy that can only do it in Holland. The Rangers had their own kind of guy that did that, and of course that would be, you guessed it, the big man, Sam Lammers. But I don't really want to talk about Sam Lammers. But yeah, I mean they'd be making a profit on him, so I think it'd be decent enough business for Hibs. Anyway, moving on to Sky Sports. they claim that RFS have bid it for Jerome Pryor, who of course is the Livingston goalkeeper. Apparently a bid's been rejected. No amount has been discussed. But he's a Livingston goalkeeper, folks. I don't think this guy is going to be going for buckets upon buckets of money. Let's be honest. But Dundee have taken two players on trial. Kyle McGuinness and Tommy McDermott have joined up with Dundee to have a wee bit of a trial period, so we'll see how that goes. And then another bit of big news is the fact that Max Aarons has agreed a deal with Rangers, so we'll see how that plays out. And there's also one that's here that's caught my eye. If you want to hear more on Max Aarons, by the way, check out my channel. I upload like a full 7-minute, an almighty 7-minute video talking about the guy, but I think it's a good deal. Hopefully it replaces Tav, we move on. But according to Sponici Annex via the Footballing League World, Birmingham City are likely to sign former Celtic striker Kyogo Furuhashi from Stade Reims. Right. I cannot believe how far Kyogo has fallen. An absolute disaster of a season in Ligue 1. It has to be fucking said. He's going to end up at Birmingham. The English Championship, right? It's not the worst league in the world. And I do think Birmingham are going to truly... I don't know if they're going to get promoted this season, but they're going to give it a good go. And I think they are one of the favourites in terms of... I mean, they're not favourites, but in terms of clubs you see going up within the next couple of years that aren't a parachute payment club, I think they are amongst the favourites, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think the fall from grace on Kyogo Furuhashi is honestly, it's crazy when you think of it. I mean, I know he didn't want to play for Celtic anymore. I mean, he kind of had done it all, but again, have you done it all? There's more trophies to win. There's more Champions League nights, and he's threw it all away for a shitey spell in France, and then he's going to Birmingham. Yo, Kyogo could be great in Championship. I think he probably will be. Maybe that league will suit him more than League One. Maybe he'll be given more of a chance. But the guy's good enough to be playing in the Premier League. I can't believe that Ange hasn't took a punt on him. But then, like I say, he had a shite spell in League One. So maybe he's not good enough for the Premier League. Who knows? But yeah, not the thing to prove that would be. If he joins Birmingham, can he take them for the Championship, the Premier League? Can he become a Birmingham City legend? I'm not too sure. Anyway, Kyogo going to Birmingham. It's a weird one. Football's full of weird surprises, folks. So we'll see where that ends up. Until next time, peace.